Yeah, as it goes for baseball, it's been a really good fall so far. We're about halfway through. We've been able to get a lot of guys on the fields, mixed together, the returners and the new guys, and it's been very, very productive for us so far. So just want to continue to see that. I think you guys have had a chance to be out at some practices. So just want to keep working hard. The guys have been working extremely hard, and we just need to keep growing week by week.
All right, we will start with Dave.
Hey, Mark, thanks for doing this. Halfway through, I mean, were you looking for definite answers for rotation or starters at this point? I mean, and have you made any progress, or was this mostly just let's see who we got and we'll wait till the spring to determine those kind of answers?
Yeah, the latter. Obviously, we have some ideas on some guys. I mean, Farr and Jordan are going to be in the weekend rotation based on last year and based on how they're pitching this year. So it's not a complete crapshoot at this point. We have some ideas, but for the most part, a lot of our positions are open for business. A lot of roles on the pitching staff are being fought for right now. So the big thing is, again, just teaching the new guys what the expectations are here, letting them get a feel for the speed of the game, because the speed of SEC baseball is much greater than anything they've been exposed to this point. So it's just a combination of again, getting your old guys back on and getting them back to work and getting your new guys up to speed with everything that they need to learn here at South Carolina.
Greg Hadley.
Hey, Mark, I was just curious, with Farr and Jordan in those, maybe not locked in, but certainly looking at those 1 and 2 spots, how expansive is the competition going to be for the third rotation spot, do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are very capable, more guys than I can talk about. I mean, Mag Cotto has been tremendous so far this fall. Julian Bosnick has been tremendous this fall. We know Brett Carey is more than capable of starting. And there are others. There are other guys. Those are the 3 guys that kind of jump to the top of the list as of today. We all know that can change by the week, but those are 3 guys that have been really, really good this fall. So those are other guys that you would consider candidates, but there are more past them as well.
Colin?
Yeah, Mark, you mentioned Mag and Julian. I'm curious, your first couple of years here, you didn't have maybe necessarily the depth as a left-handed pitcher. Where do you feel like that depth is right now, especially with those 2 guys and a guy like Jackson and Will McGregor and Dylan Harley coming into the mix, coming off Tom John?
Yeah, we have more left-handed arms than we've had since I've been here, and you're talking about those 2, Cotto and Bosnick at the top. It's a great starting point. But Josiah Seitler is an absolute weapon as a left-handed pitcher. So we have options there. Jarrett Bennett is the transfer from Charleston Southern who had a really good career there. So he's another option there, and we have others. But we definitely have more options and more arms from the left side than we've had since I've been here.
But Derek Scott, then Dave.
Coach, talk to us a little bit about your shortstop position and what you're seeing there so far. Obviously, a lot of different folks who are engaged in that with different strengths and weaknesses. What have you thought so far about what you've seen?
Yeah, we're going to really be able to catch it at shortstop. Whether it's Khalil, whether it's Vasquez, whether it's Robinson. Wimmer is an option there as a utility guy, and Mahoney's an option there as a utility guy. But I think we're really going to catch the ball at shortstop, regardless of who's out there. One may be more steady, one may be more flashy, one may be kind of a mix of the both. But I think we're going to really be able to count on really good defense at shortstop, regardless of who's out there. They all have their challenges offensively at this point. They're all kind of working on the offensive side of the game. But you've got to start. Any good team starts with really good catching and really good shortstop defense. And I feel really good about those 2 areas right now.
Dave?
Mark, have you received any clarity from the NCAA on the schedule, the format, or when you guys can release one?
No, Dave, no more information than the last time we talked. Everything is still on the table. I think I saw that one conference already kind of announced their plan. I think it was, a 48 or 49 game schedule. But we have not gotten any more clarity yet on what we need to be anticipating.
John?
Can't hear you, John.
Unmute. Here we go.
This is your first Zoom, John, for crying out loud.
You'd think I'd have figured this out by now.
All right.
but with it seems like you got a lot of guys who are hitting some high numbers on the pitching mound in terms of velocity. Where are you now compared to where you were when you took over in terms of not only quality of arms, but from a depth standpoint there?
Well, when we first got here, obviously Hill threw very hard and Morris threw very hard. I'm trying to think, you had your Lawson in the back of the bullpen. Rich Chapman was a pretty good arm. So you had a few guys that were in that 94, 95 range and touching a little bit higher than that. But now it just seems like arm after arm after arm that we bring out, to pitch an inter squad. We have 10 guys that have touched 95 so far this fall. Probably 15 guys that have been 93 or higher. So the volume of arm strength is definitely bigger and deeper. Now you still have to be able to pitch. You still have to be able to throw breaking ball at 3-2 sometimes. You have to be able to keep guys off balance. And there's a lot more to the craft of pitching than just throwing hard. But I can't imagine there's many schools in the country that have as many power arms as we do right now. Now it's just a matter of figuring out where to put them, how to use them, and their continued growth with their secondary pitches.
You feel like that's come mainly through recruiting, or do you feel like that's come through development, weight room? What do you attribute that
I think
to?
all the above. I mean, we've placed an emphasis on big, strong guys that throw hard, but Billy Anderson is the best in the country in terms of getting guys stronger, and I have great confidence in Skylar Meade with helping our pitchers develop not only velocity, because we do have velocity training within our pitching program, but also learning the craft of pitching. So I just think it's all of the above. It's always all of the above. It takes a lot of different factors for improvement, and I think the recruiting, the strength gains that we have, and then the daily guidance of Skylar, I think all those are very important.
Greg?
Yeah, Mark, I was just kind of curious how you see the outfield shaping up, just because you have three guys that started so many of the games you guys did play last year, but then you got someone like Brandon Fields, who's obviously bringing in a lot of talent coming in as well.
Yeah, obviously we have the three incumbents, and Eister, Myers, and Allen, who are all, Eister's been unbelievably good this fall. Brady Allen has been excellent as well. Noah's, been a little bit up and down, but we know he's a plus defender and he can get on base and steal bases. Fields has had a very, very good fall. He's flashed some unbelievable highlight moments, but he also needs to make improvements in terms of just consistent contact at the plate. Like most freshmen at this level, the strikeouts are a little high right now, and that's something he's working on. And then you can also look at a guy like Joe Satterfield, who played infield at Elon, but we've been working him out at left field quite a bit this fall, and he's more than held his own out there. And he's a very good left-handed hitter, which we don't have enough of. So he's a guy that will be an option, whether it's out in the outfield, whether it's at first base, whether it's as a DH. Joe Satterfield has put himself in the mix to get at bats pretty consistently come springtime. So then you factor in Josh Schuler, who's a young, talented freshman, has some improvement gains he needs to make, but he's a guy we like. And then lastly, David Cromer has worked really hard this fall as well.
Colin?
Greg took my outfield question, so I guess I'll ask a little bit about the bullpen. What have you seen from Danny Lloyd, Andy Peters, and CJ Wines? Not trying to say it. So what have you seen from those three guys in particular?
Yeah, it's Wines, just for future. It is Wines. Power arms, no doubt. Andy Peters is, he's still a guy that, coming off the injury about a year and a half ago now, he's started to turn the corner. I think his last outing was probably his best here on campus. He was 94, 95, and the breaking ball has gotten better, and he threw strikes and attacked the zone. So that was encouraging to see. Danny Lloyd's a guy we all love. He's a competitor. He's been up to 96, 97. He's got a cutter. He's got the slider. He's a guy that you don't worry about giving the ball to and wondering if he's going to compete. He loves to win. He loves to get after hitters. So he's a guy we're excited about. And CJ Wines has been another guy. Looking at the stats in front of me, CJ is another power arm. He'll be 93, 94, and in 8 innings, just looking at 5 innings, he's given up 4 hits with 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk. So another weapon we'll have. He's a guy that you could look at as potentially a starter, for us, but he also could be a very important guy at the back of the bullpen. So he's a guy that definitely will log very important innings for us.
Any other questions for Coach? Oh, got one from Dave. Yep.
Mark, just, halfway through, any opt-outs or guys that might have decided to move on at this point?
No. Our guys seem to have a great vibe about wanting to be out at the field every day. So I think they're having a lot of fun. They're working really hard. I think they can understand the progress they're making. So we've had, nothing but guys that can't wait to get to the ballpark every day.
John?
Yeah, I know you've learned a lot over these first 3 weeks. Over these next 3 weeks, what's kind of your point of emphasis? What do you want to see apart from just general growth?
Again, I think I'd like to get more clarity on some roles for some guys. There's just I want to see which of our young guys especially will be able to handle the grind, because we're playing 4 games a week now, and that gets to be a challenge. You can sense a little bit on Sundays, hey, maybe there's not quite as much energy on the younger guys than they had on the Tuesday or the Thursday scrimmage. So I want to see growth there of guys understanding what the grind is of a full week of SEC baseball. I want to see strikeouts go down from our young hitters. They're very talented, but they're also that jump from high school baseball to SEC baseball. It's a challenge to make contact. Brady Allen's a perfect example. A couple years ago as a freshman, he struck out more than you liked. Now he's one of our best guys in terms of low strikeout numbers. Just hitters evolve, and the more at bats they get, the better. So, from an offensive standpoint, that's what I want to see improvement in. And pitching wise, I want to see our pitchers continue to really attack the zone. Just looking at some of our stats on our team, our off-speed strike percentage is through the roof. But our fastballs, we need to command the zone a little bit better than we are to be an elite team. The velocity's through the roof. I just want to continue to see fastball command continue to be where I know it can be for these guys. I would say those are the things we're really looking at over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and the Garnet and Black World Series is always a big thing around here. Do you envision being able to put something on for the fans, or do you think that that's out of the question at this point?
Yeah, I mean, we would love to. We would absolutely love to. The fans are very important to us. I think they know that, and we want to be able to show off this team for our fans. But still, they've relaxed it a little bit. We've been able to let the scouts into our scrimmages, to ensure opportunities for our players and their professions. So we've been able to do that. I just think it's a continue evaluation process of where are we with the university, with the state, et cetera, whether we'll be able to let our fans in. Those decisions are made way above our heads. So we're at the mercy of what they want to allow us to do, and we'll follow whatever they think is best practice at this point.
Derek?
Coach, knowing how much more depth there feels like there will be this year because of the changes to the draft, if you had to guess or project, do you think that will be more reflected in improved hitting or pitching? And I'm not talking about your squad. I'm talking about, let's just say the SEC. Do you think you'll see more of it in one facet or another impacting the game, or do you think it'll be a wash?
That's a good question, Derek. I mean, my guess is that pitching will probably be a little bit more ahead of hitting at this point, just because of the age groups we're talking about. It takes a long time for most hitters to get the at-bats to be able to hit 95 to 97 with breaking balls and changeups. That just takes time, and you're going to see a lot of those kind of guys. Obviously, you'll see a lot of those guys from our program on the mound, but we'd be foolish to think that, the other schools in our league won't be the same. So I would guess the pitching will be a little bit more of the hitting, even more so than most years, because there's going to be such a great volume of power arms. So that's my guess. I could be proven to be wrong on that, but that would be just my guess. I think you'll see the veteran offenses will be the ones that have the best chance to have success, because they have all those at bats under their belts. But I also think you'll see some very talented freshmen in our league, hopefully including us, where guys are able to make that jump. So long story short, I think the pitching will be slightly ahead of the hitters, but I think in the grand scheme of the game, you're going to see a lot of great talent out there playing college baseball.